We live? Are we on? This is going? Where's my Buffalo Wild Wings? I actually like this song. I play this for my fade it. Fade it. You gotta let it disappear in your headphones. Tyler Zulli. We're trying some new technical stuff out. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Philly with John Marks on PHLY. As always, brought to you by Bet Parks and Central City Toyota. Yeah, that's when I stream at night. That's the rock song in the software that we use, and I like it. I've gotten to like it. So yesterday at like what was it, like 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, somewhere around there, I saw the tweet that came out from the Eagles and the picture of BG, not Black Gritty, Brandon Graham, with the green spikes hanging over Rocky. And what was weird about it was I looked yesterday when we were talking about the Eagles' defensive line and how young everybody is. I looked at it and I said, well, there's no way that Brandon's playing. Not that I thought Brandon was playing, but I guess you never know, right? So I'm like, well, there's just like, he's going to retire, but when's he going to retire? And then it happens yesterday. So yeah, Brandon Graham has officially retired from the NFL and as a Philadelphia Eagle. To help me discuss this, Tyler Zulli's in the house, but one BG to another BG. Black Gritty from blackgritty.com is on the program today. Black Gritty.
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
I cried yesterday watching it.
I mean, I made fun of people all the time. Like, CJ, you crying over this? Like, I got emotional yesterday, and you knew it was going to happen. But, man, I love Brandon Graham, and I didn't realize how much I love Brandon Graham. I mean, I didn't cry, but I felt real upset about it. And then when he got to the point, like, I'm going to have dinner with Jeffrey Lord, I was like, yeah, okay. So you're going to be on the team, assistant coaching, something, and be around. He can't go anywhere. I just love Brandon Graham.
Ambassador, right? A couple years ago, he because I think he was living down by the complex, right? Like a lot of people live down there in those nice townhouses by where NovaCare is. A lot of guys own them, and then if they leave, they end up renting them out to new players that come in or whatever. And him and his wife had bought like a really, really nice house, and it was like, oh, so he's staying here. So this is where he's going to live. This is where he raises his children, and so like you knew that he was going to settle here. It was just a matter of when was he going to be done playing. I mean, I cry. I can't get. I even think about my kids like getting older and stuff. I just start to cry. I watch your daughter right now getting ready to graduate from high school, and it has me crying looking at that stuff. But like when you hear Brandon talk about his story yesterday, and you heard the voice cracking, talking about his parents, talking about his wife, talking about his kids, I'm not going to try to make this about me today because this isn't about me, but my experience with Brandon Graham is unique to a lot of people that are in the media. The beats, Zach, Elliott, all those guys, Jeff McClain, Derek Gunn. He had such a unique relationship with the media because he was here for so long. I co-hosted the Brandon Graham show with him for 7 years. So you learn a lot about a person, in particular an athlete, working with somebody for that long, but also seeing the interactions that he has with the fans, not when everybody's watching, but just like the real genuine type of person that he is. And Black Gritty, he is the exact person that you think that he is. He is a great guy. He is a great person. He represents the Eagles to the utmost degree. He's a great husband. He is a tremendous father, and he's a very kind person. He's a great guy. The interactions that I've seen with him with fans over the years, after they win the Super Bowl and he has that sack, right? Now everybody wants their picture signed from Brandon Graham. So like when you go to the Brandon Graham show on Monday nights during the football season, everybody wants to see Brandon. Everybody wants a picture. Everybody wants an autograph or whatever. And he is so accommodating with everybody. It's amazing. So Brandon, the person, is amazing. I know you've been down there. Yeah. You've interacted with him. You see the same thing that I am with Brandon. He's just, and it makes you feel good because he is really like a genuine dude, a genuinely good dude.
So before I want to give a soliloquy about Brandon, but before that, I want to give my two stories. So what you said is true. You worked with him for 7 years. You know, I was down there every Monday night, win or lose, for a long period of time. And I did see how he interacted with people, and it was amazing because one time I went to the Philadelphia Expo. My buddy bought me a ticket for my birthday, and he knows I love BG. So he's like, oh, go there, get your Black Gritty jersey signed, whatever, it'll be funny. Now he's seen me at the events since before I ever talked to him, but he's seen me there all the time on Mondays. I go into the event and they're like, oh, sorry, Brandon had something come up. He already did his event. He was in here 2 hours early. And I was like, I just drove an hour and a half and I was an hour early, Johnny Marks. And I was like, he's gone. And they were like, yeah. And I was so sad. Just like one of my friends spent the money and I drove so far. And I was like, okay. Cause sometimes I feel bad having them sign stuff at the Chickies.
Yeah.
I know they get paid to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I looked and the guy's like, he's like, you're really upset. I'm like, dude, it's okay. And he's like, hold on a second. He's like, he's in the back, but he's doing our helmets and stuff like that before he gets out of here. And I was like, look, just take me to the door. If I wave and he'll recognize me, like I will be in and out. He knows who I am. He doesn't know who I am, but he knows who I am. And he was like, I went to the door and Brandon, he's like, I was like, yeah. Like, get back there. He's like, oh, have a seat, sit down with me while he's signing. And we're just talking, chopping up. Like, dude, I don't want to tell you. I was like, no, let's hang out. You know what I mean? He called me BG. I'm like, don't ever do that again. Like, you can't call me BG. And the fact that he took the time to, like, at least just have me sit there and chill with him. You know what I mean? Like, that was nice. We took the pictures. He signed my stuff. It was great. And then the other thing I'll say is, like, when he got injured, he was at Chickies and Pete's, and they wouldn't let him sign anything because, his tricep was messed up. And I waited, dude, there was like at least 100 people there waiting to see him because it was his first time back after the injury, and people just took pictures of him. I was the last person. And he was like, yo, you want a picture again? I'm like, dude, I don't need a picture. I just want to talk to you for a second. I'm like, look, I need you to get in that hyperbaric chamber. I need you back for the playoff run. I need you for a Super Bowl. And if for some reason you can't come back then, you got to come back one more year. And he's like, I'm working on it. I'm like, no, I'm telling you right now, you coming back for the playoff and the Super Bowl run. Or else. And he's like, all right. I was like, look, I'm gonna go put that out in the media and say I got an exclusive. And then when he came back, I took credit for it because I demanded it out of Brandon Graham. But he stood there for so long with all those people. And I know he was in pain. And he's just a stand-up human being. He
sure is, man.
Now,
I mean, to think about how and sometimes the fans, like, and he's generous to all of them, but sometimes the fans can be like, a little bit overbearing or like, yeah, listen, Brandon Graham's a big deal. But the famous Angelo Cataldi caller, Butch from Manayunk, used to come, and I guess his shtick is he writes parody songs to the Flintstones.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't listen to the show, but so he would come up with this song and he would sing it to Brandon, and it's a Flintstones parody show. This is off the air.
Yeah.
And Brandon sat there with a smile on his face through the whole thing. And you could tell he was really trying. And I was like, Butch, would you get the bleep out of here? Like, leave him alone. You already had 2 minutes with him. That's 2 minutes too much. Get out of here. But like, that's the kind of guy that he was, where, like, listen, I've worked with a lot of athletes in that type of capacity, and there ain't anybody else that would have dealt with that except maybe Dutch, which is, I'll probably bring him up today at some point, Darren Dalton. But like Fletcher Cox, when he had a show at Chickies and Pete's, after Brandon at 7:00, he wasn't as friendly with the fans as Brandon Graham was.
Yeah. And it's funny because, so I'm going to say this next. Brandon Graham isn't the best player. He's not even the best player in his era. Like, Fletcher has more accolades. Kelsey's got his charisma thing going for him, and he's got a little bit more accolades. But I'm going to go out and say, and I'll repeat saying this till it gets disproven, he is the ultimate Philadelphian Eagle. As a man, as a human being, you come from Michigan, you get drafted, the highest point in your life. And then you get here and you're not playing so well. And at Philadelphia, we're hard on everybody. This dude's fighting for his life on Twitter, on social media. He's out here E-Honda blocking everybody, doesn't want to go outside, gets into a deep depression. Just everything in his world was just crashing down around him. And by the love of his woman, by the grace of his skill and his mindset, he brought himself up from that and played better, got better, and then went back out into the community. Now, mind you, this community had pitchforks and torches ready for you every single day, and you still went back out in that community and did all the things that you did, and then became one of the greatest players in Eagles history, one of the greatest single memorable plays in the history of the team, 2-time Super Bowl champion, and you're just a great human being. That's Philadelphia. That's the Philadelphia story. You get knocked down, you get back up again, and you expose your heart to the people of Philadelphia. And for everybody that says Philadelphia's so horrible, whatever, Brandon Graham is the antithesis of what Philadelphia is. Yes, we can be a little bit rough, but once you get past that, you find some of the greatness in the people of the city. And to me, I know he's not he was born and bred, but this is a Philadelphian Eagle to me, and he is the pantheon of Eagles. Just 15 years, he's just the greatest. He really is. Oh, you got muted. Johnny Marks is on mute at the moment. Is it just me? Tyler, can you hear him?
Am I back?
There you go.
What the? Believe me, I don't want to be working in the home studio today. I had to do it. Yeah, he and this portion of the show brought to you by GLAT Hair Restoration, GLATHAIRMM.com, 610-980-4000. I mean, I could talk about Brandon for hours.
Yes.
But this last particular thing that you said was exactly where I was going to go. 99 out of 100 athletes that played in Philadelphia would have quit, would have left, would have said, it's not going to happen for me here. I need a change of environment. Like, it's over. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about Earl Thomas. I don't want to hear I'm a bust. Like, I get it. Like, it's just time to move on. Carson Wentz tapped out of Philadelphia. And thank God he did. He tapped out of Philadelphia. Brandon Graham didn't. Brandon Graham said, let's go. And he turned himself. It really is like, when you think about a Philadelphia story, a Philadelphia sports story, isn't this the number one? A first-round draft pick, nobody wanted him. Wanted Earl Thomas. Oh, you need somebody to replace Brian Dawkins. They trade up on the clock. Then Philadelphia Eagles select Brandon Graham. No, what are you doing, right? And he struggles. He has the injury. He blocks everybody on Twitter, which, by the way, maybe Jamie Lynch can tell this story too. I broke the story that Brandon was blocking everybody on Twitter because one night I was out with Anthony, and I tried to go to Brandon Graham's Twitter. I'm like, he blocked me. And then Jamie's like, he blocked me too. And then, so then it's like, and I tweeted out, anybody else blocked by Brandon? And then hashtag blocked by Brandon started trending. Everybody. You know what he did? He didn't say, I slipped on a banana peel and it was an accident. Or like, no, he came out and he actually said, I saw the negativity. I didn't want to see the negativity. I'm a positive person. So yeah, I did. I blocked people. Now I'm going to unblock everybody. Like, the balls to come out and actually address it. And he actually, one time, I don't know if you remember this, Gritty, he said, thank you, 97.5, because we had uncovered on the morning show that Brandon was blocking people. And he thanked us because it really, like, it made him face what was going on. Yeah. He goes from that into having the biggest play in Eagles history and becoming an all-time Eagle. He is 100%, if you're doing Eagles Mount Rushmore, I saw Elliott had one out yesterday. He's on the list. Fletcher Cox is the better player. Jason Kelsey's a Hall of Famer. Brandon Graham's more of an Eagle than both of those guys, and I'm not trying to compare.
No.
Right? I'm not comparing.
It's not about that. It's not about that.
It's not about that. This guy's the ultimate Eagle, and when I think of the Philadelphia Eagles right now, their 2 Super Bowl runs, Brandon's smiling face comes to mind. And, I mean, you look at his numbers, man, and it's the quote that you get with the where it's like his entire, you had mentioned it a little bit earlier, but his entire career, not just the stats, not just how many Pro Bowls, not just how many sacks he had total, the fact that he was able to survive in Philadelphia for 15 years with 2 Super Bowls. Like, this guy's an all-time player. And I love him. I mean, he's my favorite. He is my favorite Eagle of all time, without a doubt. Brandon Graham.
We are lockstep with that. He's just, again, the ultimate Philadelphian Eagle. I put him in his own class, in his own space. And it's just, I'm happy for him, but I'm sad at the same time. And what is Howie doing, letting all of our greatest go? Like, how you just keep letting these guys retire, Howie? You know what I mean? Why are you letting he should demand that no one retires. Just stay on the team and refuse their retirement. And the speech was great because he dapped everybody up. He took 7 minutes shaking hands and dapping up every single person in that room. You know, we're watching that live. We're sitting like, we're going to start like 7 minutes as soon as he hugs everybody. and he was cool. As soon as he sat down and opened his mouth, he started crying. I was like, oh, here we go.
Yep.
Here we go.
Yeah, it's and like he would do the same thing when he would show up to a show on Monday nights. He hugs and says hi to everybody. I saw Bill Matt's tweet out that Brandon's the kind of guy that he remembers your name. So even if you're the engineer, Bill Matz was the engineer on Monday nights for that show for a long time. Knew Bill, said hi to him every week, right? Like knows people's names. You get some athletes and some coaches, like Steve Adazio, who used to coach Temple and Boston College. I know somebody that was a part of the Boston College program as like a student person. And Steve Adazio was the kind of guy that he could work with you every day. He would never know your name or care to know your name. That's the kind of creep that he was. Yeah. Brandon Graham's the exact opposite. Like he is just such a good guy. So real fast, I want to get to Tyler Zuli's his thoughts on this as well. First round draft pick in 2010. Tyler Zuli, I'll bring you in on this. Among his teammates during his rookie year, Michael Vick, Quentin Michael, Asante Samuel, Hank Baskett, King Dunlop. How about Ellis Hobbs and Brandon Graham were teammates his rookie year, man?
That's crazy.
That's it. Like, you don't have 15-year careers in the NFL. He did. You don't have 15 years with the same team in the NFL. This guy did. You don't play 15 years in a fickle city like Philadelphia. This guy did, man. He's an all-timer. I feel so good for him, but I'm sad at the same time because I'll miss him on the field at least.
The average NFL career is about 2.4 years, I believe is the number, something like that. You have to be able to produce to stay in the NFL. So to have expectations as a first-round pick, to have expectations, as you guys mentioned, of not being Earl Thomas, to have expectations of coming in and producing in a city that like is pretty demanding right away. You get a little bit of leeway as a rookie, but you get a lot of demand as a first-round pick pretty quickly. To have all of those things and to struggle a little bit out of the gate, to struggle as, what was he, the 10th overall pick or the 12th, 13th overall pick, to struggle a little bit out of the gate, to be able to grow and mature is a difficult task, especially in this city, especially as a guy who was drafted 13th overall. It gets to your head a little bit if you're a lesser, if you're lesser mentally tough. Whether you have it or you grow into it, that can get to your head. The money can get to your head. All of these things can get to your head. So to be able to have that difficulty to begin his career, bounce back, have 15 years in one city like you brought up, John, which almost never, ever happens. Like you're talking about, like John Elway did that. You know what I mean? Like those type of guys do those type of things. And to have a guy that was pretty much for the bulk of his 15 years, for probably from like year 3 all the way up till the very end, productive is super impressive.
Yeah, man, he was good this year. I was so happy he was at least able to get back out on the field for the Super Bowl. Because he had said yesterday if he didn't, he'd probably be back this year.
Yeah,
but he did. And we're up against it right here.
He was having an excellent year this season.
Man,
his snap counts dipped a little bit, but they brought him back up because A, Bryce Huff wasn't playing well, and B, it was hard to keep the guy off the field. He was playing too well.
Yeah, he sure was. What's one more thing I wanted to mention here? So third all time in sacks, Reggie White 124, which is unbelievable. Trent Cole, who is severely underrated as an Eagle.
100%.
We don't talk about him enough. He was a great player. Yeah. So listen. So here's what's coming up, BG. I actually have a list of players that have played for one single Philadelphia franchise longer than Brandon Graham, and there's not a lot of them. We have that. We also need we need a goodbye song for Brandon. We actually need a goodbye song for three Eagles players. We talked about this last week because Mekhi Becton said goodbye.
Yeah.
Rick Lovato seems like he's been shown the door of the long snapper. And we have BG. So we'll pick some songs to say goodbye to him with that. A lot going on here this morning. More Brandon Graham memories as well. It is Philly with John Marks. Black Gritty from blackgritty.com on the program this morning. We'll be back in 2 and 2. 2 and 2. All right, so listen, just so everybody knows it. Hey, listen, I don't know what BG's doing. Black Gritty's doing this Saturday. We will be at Parks Casino. That's right. Big tournament weekend, Thursday night, Friday night. What a good place to see all the games. Man, the sports book at Parks Casino Bet Parks is amazing. We'll be there 1 to 3 p.m. on Saturday. Maniac Malloy will be out there as well. Tyler Zulli, I believe, is going to be out there as well. All of our regulars would love to meet some of the listeners, the fans, everybody out there. So we'll be out there this Saturday coming up at 1 o'clock. But the Bet Parks Sportsbook and online casino has you covered for the college basketball tournament. Listen, future bets right now to win it all. $25 on Duke pays you 80. 25 on Florida pays 100. Auburn, 25 pays you 125. How about this one? Ooh, St. John's. The Fighting Rick Pitino's $25 bet will pay you $600. 25 on Michigan State pays $625. I would not bet that. But whether your team scores or not, there's always another way to win on the Bet Parks online casino and sportsbook app. It's the only app I would ever use and to recommend to bet on sports and the favorite casino games in the palm of your hand. This is live dealer, not fugazi stuff. Live dealer, blackjack, roulette, poker, and more. Hot online slots based on the movies Rocky, Ted, and Goonies. And Tyler was talking about this the other day. He hasn't been sleeping. Cash Eruption slot, 88 Fortunes, Cleopatra, and more. How about this? Breaking Bad slots, Peaky Blinders. Jesus God. All your classic casino games from wherever you go. New users get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. BetParks.com. Download the app right there. Enjoy all the action and excitement from the casino at your fingertips. You got to be 21 and in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, or Michigan for the BetParks app. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Hooah. All right, Rothman, let's talk about it. Bad back. My wife's got a bad back. I had a frozen shoulder. My mom has had many issues over the years with joints. Everybody can relate, right? Like whether you have a bad back, knee, ankle. I think Black Gritty has started. No, it was Maniac Malloy that had a Rothman story. He had screwed up his shoulder. They fixed him right up. So if you need an orthopedic, right, there's no place you want to go other than Rothman. And we're talking about the convenience of 30-plus offices in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, right? But we're not just talking about convenience, right? Because it's more about that. It's about the doctors. It's about the staff. So they have a doctor that's laser focused for every body part. You don't want to go to a place and be like, oh, well, it's my elbow. And oh, yeah, well, he's known for his knees, but yeah, he can look at elbows too. No. Elbows, hips, ankles, shoulders, fingers, everything. They have a doctor that specializes in you, right? Like that's Rothman. And like I said, it's not just the volume they're doing because obviously with 30 plus locations and a name like Rothman and the great work that they do, it's about new patients, consults, the commitment to improving your life through their service and care. For over 50 years, Rothman has been doing it for you, specializing in orthopedics and you. Visit rothmanortho.com/PHLY to learn more and to make an appointment today. Hooah. All right, we are back on a Wednesday morning. If you're watching live, just remember this, all right? We appreciate you watching live. Tune in every morning at 8 a.m. right here, right? You get involved in the live chat. We post some of your comments. Enjoy the show. We get to know you a little bit. We grow our community. But a lot of people, Black Gritty, also watch after the fact. Yeah, like you're all, like depending.
On demand.
It's on demand, man. It's on demand. So here's what you can do. Just make sure you're subscribing and liking, but also comment. Because if you don't get a chance to comment in the live chat, comment on the show, and then that gets you involved in the show. We can have a kind of a running commentary on the show on YouTube. So subscribe on YouTube. You can watch on Xfinity, Roku, Samsung Plus. I should actually put the Roku TV on because last week on Friday I put the Roku TV on when we were on, and they had Tyler on with the Phillies show. I'm like, what the bleep? Why isn't Philly with John Marks on today? Yeah, it must have been a programming issue.
And Tyler's a big deal. Tyler's a big deal.
He is. We also had a meeting with our boss yesterday, the director of content for PHLY, Jamie Lynch.
Shamey.
Which is, it's weird to have Jamie kind of as a suit, even though he wears salmon shorts and flip flops. But technically, he's a suit.
Yeah.
Tyler, I don't know about you. I thought it was a productive meeting. Well, like it was a lot of good information. We weren't on there too long because I have my limit in how long I can stand there or deal with it. So
Yeah, I certainly think so. I think that the direction of the show is heading in a good direction.
yeah, we have we'll have a couple of segments, new segments that are coming up, maybe starting next week. So look forward to doing that as we enter Philly season, which we'll talk some baseball, the final segment of the show. But so check this out, right? Brandon Graham, 15 years in Philadelphia, and which is like crazy because he turns 37 in a little bit. I forget when his birthday is, but he's 36. He's turning 37. 37 as a football player is old, man. Like offensive line, tackle, guard, like you see that sometimes. But man, Brandon came in the NFL early. He's almost 37. That's old for a football player.
And he didn't Jason Peters it again. No, he didn't rob and steal, and you know what I mean. So to have that long career and be consistently consistent is really impressive.
There's no doubt his number gets retired, correct?
They don't really retire numbers, Johnny Marks. I just talked about how much I love them and all that kind of stuff, but how many numbers do they retire really? You know what I mean?
Well, I'll say this. I'm not intentionally coming out and ripping Donovan. Donovan's number shouldn't be retired. That was a pity retirement.
It really was. It really was.
You retire player like Jason Peters is probably going to get his number retired because he's a future Hall of Famer. He wasn't playing, but he was a big part of that run in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I'm kind of like you. I can already tell just based on your tone what you think about JP, and I try not to be like that because Jason Peters is a really good player.
I loved him. He was the bodyguard. He was the enforcer. He was a shark on land. He was a beast. Just the end of his career, where I just like whenever he just kept popping, I'm like, why aren't we retired already? Like, why are we talking about you like this? I never did it, but I also didn't even like seeing the conversation around it.
So Tyler says the Eagles have 9 retired numbers. So let's just talk about this from when they won the Super Bowl in 17 until current day. Brian Dawkins, no-brainer. Of course, that was a lock retirement. Donovan, I'm sorry, I just don't think that he deserved it. I don't care if he's the best quarterback in franchise history.
He's not anymore,
right?
But carry on.
Right, I know, but like that was always the argument. All right,
yeah.
Well, who's the best quarterback in Tampa Bay Buccaneers history? Vinny Testaverde? Does that mean you're retiring his number? But anyway, so Kelsey's going to get retired, yes or no?
So let's put it, yes. 13 years.
He's going to be a Hall of Famer.
And he's a representative of the city. Just like how Dawkins goes out there and he's just an Eagle. Kelsey is across the globe. He's got to get retired.
He's getting retired. Fletch?
That's
why it's hard. That's why it's hard to retire Brandon's number because Fletcher was a better player.
And not only that, but all the numbers about to get retired. That's why I said no, because I feel like they're not going to retire any of these guys' numbers, but all of them deserve it. Fletcher definitely deserves it. Brandon deserves it on longevity alone. Longevity. 2 Super Bowls. How many guys on the team have 2 Super Bowls that aren't a kicker? Him and
Lovato.
They, you know what I mean? So Lane's gonna get retired too. Then.
So it's the old saying of the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, right? Brandon Graham, if you look at his stats, it's like, all right, well, like the biggest thing he has going for him is that he played a really long time, and the reason why he's third all time in sacks in the Eagles is because he played for 15 years. But it's not you can't define Brandon Graham's career by looking at box scores or stat sheets or things like that, right? Like his entire story and where he is right now, the fact that he triumphed from, dude, I'm telling you, there's 1% of players make it out of where Brandon Graham was to turn the career, maybe not even 1%.
In Philadelphia, it's negative 32%.
I mean, not only to survive, to make the biggest play in franchise history by sacking Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And I mean, I mean, it's unbelievable. To me, it's a lock. It's a lock. You retire his number, and maybe that's not fair to Fletcher. Fletcher doesn't mean to the entirety of this city and this fan base. Fletcher doesn't have the same connection.
He does not.
And I love Fletch. Fletcher's a great player, but he doesn't, and that means something.
It's just his personality isn't the same, and again, Brandon Graham is like the town mayor. He's out here shaking hands, kissing babies. He'll help you cut the grass. You're an old lady. Hey, grandma, let me cut your grass. Fletcher's like, yeah, I'll pay somebody. I'll send somebody over here to cut it. I'm not showing up though, but I'll take care of it. Like it's stand-up dude, but there's a difference to it. There's a different level to it. Kelsey, that's why Kelsey gets so much love. Kelsey's out here chugging beers with people. He's in these streets. Like there is a different level, and that ascends you. I tell people all the time, Jason Kelsey is a center. Okay, calm down with he's the best Eagle that ever played 13 years. He's a center. Give me your favorite Jason Kelsey play. You don't really have one, okay?
Well,
he's a great player.
The Mummer speech, the lore of Jason Kelsey, the fact that he's become this big star after his career is over. I mean, nationally, more people know who he is now than they ever have before.
Yes,
because he's Jason Kelsey, which will help him in the Hall of Fame. He was probably a Hall of Famer anyway. Now he's a lock. Because now everybody says future Hall of Famer Jason Kelsey, which is good. And I'm happy for him. Jason's a good dude. You're not going to, because I saw some people yesterday on Twitter being like, oh, where's Jason Kelsey? How come he's not here? It's like
he's got a baby on the way. Maybe he's in the Caribbean on vacation. I'm like,
maybe he's not available.
Yeah.
Maybe he had an hour-long phone call with Brandon where they cried and talked about their career. Like, you don't know. Don't be that Eagle fan to complain, hey, where's Jason Kelsey? It's not necessary. He's an all-time great.
And Brandon did say that. He was like, I was on the phone with a lot of players today. I was talking to a lot of people today. So other people already knew what was up. So he was talking to people. You know, he didn't name all of them by name, but he said, I was on the phone talking to a lot of guys today. So
Jason Kelsey is a stand-up guy. All right, so Tyler, help us out on this. Kelsey is a lock to get retired? Yes? I would have to think so.
I think BG's right. The numbers thing it becomes difficult because at some point you're going to run out of numbers. So I think you have to kind of balance the greatness and like it has to be an elite of elite. And so I think probably of the group, Kelsey would have the best chance. I think because of the lore that you guys, put out. But I think it was K-Red that says you're going to need triple-digit numbers soon, right? Like the Yankees don't have a number in the single digits available. They're all retired. And so, you know what I mean? So, like, teams are going to start running out, especially in the NFL, 53-man roster. So you do have to be kind of selective with it. I would say of the group, Kelsey probably has the best chance. If you're talking about
Kelsey's going to be a lock. Listen, you're going to retire Donovan McNabb's number. You can't Kelsey 1,000% because he checks all the boxes. Hall of Famer, Pro Bowls, All Pros, Super Bowl, right? Fletch checks those boxes, but he doesn't have the same relationship with the city, right? So, not even for his fault. And then Jason Peters, he's going to be a Hall of Famer, I guess. I don't know.
Let me ask you guys a question about this. So what do you guys think about the Michael Irvin effect of letting guys have your number so that every time someone wears it, they're compared to you if you're a great? Like, I want a soft retire numbers. Like the Eagles, they don't really let anybody wear Shady's number.
Randall's 12. Randall, they don't retire his number. They just don't let anybody wear it.
They don't let anybody wear it. But if I'm a player and I want it, and let's say I'm the number 3 overall pick, not the Eagles, I'm picking that. But if I got to reach out to Randall Cunningham, hey, Randall, can I have 12? And if he okays it, then you could wear it, even though it's like a soft retirement. You can't wear it unless you talk to the guy who's still alive and you can get the number.
So I love it. And so I'll say Penn State does it a little bit. Penn State does it with the number 11.
Yeah.
LeVar Arrington's 11 should be retired, right? In theory, because he's one of the greatest linebackers in Penn State history. But now it's become Stick City. So sticks, wearing the sticks is a big deal. The guys that have worn the sticks over the last couple of years, Micah Parsons, Abdul Carter just did it. LeVar Arrington Jr. is going to do it next year, which I think is so sick.
Yeah.
So I think that's not a bad way to go about it, where it's a ceremonious, honorous number where it's you're worthy of wearing this number, right? The Phillies haven't handed out 6 since Ryan Howard. The Phillies haven't handed out 11 since Jimmy Rollins. So they're not retired, but they're pseudo-retired. I think that's a good way to go about it.
Yeah, if you got somebody who's won a high draft pick, a claimed person coming out, or because now they let you change numbers. If you come out in your rookie year and you're Quinyon Mitchell and you're like, bro, I'm the dude. Let me get the number. And they're like, you know what? You're the dude. You could get the number. that's why I feel like it should be played out right now, because we ain't gonna have no numbers left, Johnny Marks. We gotta do something.
Well, they got to retire that 55. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't need a soft retirement. I need a retirement. You see,
burn every 55 in the city. Can't nobody wear.
Did you see
Johnny Marks is burning it off your back right now?
His 50. You see his 54 when he was a rookie. I saw a bunch. I think it was when he was a rookie. He was wearing the 54 early in his career. I was watching videos yesterday, tribute videos to him yesterday, and he's wearing the 54. What's one more thing I want to add to this? All right, so the only players most seasons ever played for a Philadelphia franchise. Who do you think who played the most seasons for a Philadelphia franchise? Tyler Zuli or BG, Black Gritty?
My first guess would be Mike Schmidt.
Michael Jack, 18 seasons. Wow. Never played for another franchise. 18 seasons. You don't realize he was playing in the early 70s.
Yeah, it's here forever.
Yeah. And he retired in 1989. All right. Second is, and this is on the tip of your tongue, Black Gritty, I'm just going to say it. Granny Hamner played 16 seasons.
I was definitely going to say Granny. You know, everybody know about Granny. You know what I mean?
Was he an athletic? I don't even know. I guess I should have looked at it. The Philadelphia Athletic, Granny Hamner? Or Granny Hamner? I don't know. So then you have Brandon Graham. So Brandon Graham, as far as years with the franchise, is tied for third all time. He's a football player.
Yeah.
15 seasons, along with Bobby Clark. Claude Giroux is here for 15 years. Wow.
Like that question, I can't even, I don't even think about people's time here. That's crazy.
15 years? He was a Philly Granny Hamner.
19 when he got called up. I think he was 19 or 20.
Yep. Yeah, he played a long time.
Young guy when he got called up. And then I think even his first kind of pseudo full season, he was 21.
Yeah, Granny Hamner, when he was 17, had 81 at-bats for the Phillies in 1944.
Wow.
So, yeah, Giroux. And then you had lefty Steve Carlton, who he was with St. Louis for a while. He just pitched for so long. He was pitching into his 40s, and the Phillies wanted him to retire because he was shot, and he wouldn't. And then he bounced around. He was with the Twins. He pitched for a number of teams after the Phillies before he hung it up. Chuck Klein, I didn't realize that Jimmy Rollins, 15 seasons? A guy like Jimmy Rollins, that's a long season. It's a lot of times to say something that's going to piss us off. And J-Roll was J-Roll. I love Jimmy Rollins. 15 years for Jimmy. Retire that number, Black Gritty. Retire it.
Yeah, retire number. See, it's so funny because, I guess because maybe I was younger and you don't think of time like that until you start getting a little older. I'm like, J-Roll played 8 years. You know what I mean? I got
or
prime
10.
J-Roll.
Right?
Yeah, I got prime J-Roll in my mind. You say 15, I'm like, golly. That feels, I feel old.
Well, remember,
really old.
He came in Larry Boa. He came in Larry Boa's first year, and he was a weapon. He was like steals. Whenever he got on base, man, he was a problem. Oh man, his defense was he was 21 years old. Jimmy Rollins they drafted him out of high school. He was in the majors at 21. He was amazing. Yeah. All right. Tony Taylor, who, if you've ever heard the phrase a tailor-made double play, that's from Tony Taylor. He was a smooth fielding second baseman. Hal Greer, the great Philadelphia basketball legend, 15 seasons with the 76ers. And then Dolph Schayes. If you had that on your bingo card that you were going to hear the name Dolph Schayes this morning, you win. Because I did not have that on my bingo card.
No one had that on their bingo card.
Going back to Jimmy Rollins for just 1 second, to put it into perspective, because I feel like Jimmy Rollins was a part of my life for my whole life as, growing up. And to put it into perspective, Jimmy Rollins made his major league debut when I was in first grade and left the Phillies when I was in my sophomore year of college.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah. And you know what, Tyler, you'll get a lot of that with you see when he retires, you see your life flash before your eyes, like you just said.
Yeah.
First grade, you're like, oh my God, since I can remember,
this
guy's been playing baseball. Yeah, it's crazy.
Basically, since I was a Phillies fan more than go Phillies, I love the Phillies, right? 7, 8 years old is kind of when you start to understand the game a little bit more deeply. From basically 7, 8 years old till I was 20 and in college and studying college courses. That's insanity.
And that's why the Brandon Graham thing affects my brain the way it is, because I'm older, right? So when he came in, I was 30? I had free time. I was going to games. I was in the media. I was reading the newspaper. I was reading blog posts. I was all that, consuming all that information. So I knew everything about him. And I'm like, man, we all together, baby. He's still younger than me. You know what I mean? I talk to him like he's my uncle or something. And I'm 8, 9 years older than the man. But you just grow up when you can see it. But when you're a kid, you're right. You're like, man, think about people like watching LeBron James. Are like, I grew up loving LeBron James. Not like I'm playing with LeBron James. Like
that's crazy. It really is. All right, one last thing because we're late. We have a lot to get to here today. I saw Zach say this yesterday. Zach Berman on with Bo, PHLY Eagles. He had said that he's had more conversations with Brandon about being a father and stuff like that than he has football. And I mean, I'm a good 11, 12 years older than Brandon, but we started having kids at about the same time. So it like same thing, which was like talking about the kids, like, your daughter doing this? Like, this is what my daughter's doing right now, right? It's like they're all, I think they're the same age. I think my oldest and or maybe it's my middle. But anyway, we have kids that are about the same age. So yeah, you do have those connections. And one more thing with Brandon, he was such a huge football fan. The most fun I had with Brandon doing the show was doing the commercial breaks. We'd be talking about the league, right? Like if they had a game on Sunday night or they have whatever it was, right? Like I would ask him, like we'd be talking about college football on Saturday. He's a huge football fan. So Brandon's watching as much football as any football fan out there, except for when he's playing and he can't. But yeah, man, he's a huge football fan, which is awesome. All right, coming up, we have a brand new game that we're debuting today, and Tyler doesn't even know it. All right, Tyler is a baseball bot. He knows more baseball than anybody I've ever met in my life. All right, I have a hunch you'll love the baseball bot. That's coming up right after this. Philly with John Marks. Don't go anywhere. Hoo-ah! Back in 2 and 2. All right, Ace is the place for losers like me that can't fix anything, right? Ace Hardware Home Services. Listen, you have a leaky pipe? Ace Hardware Home Services, they're right there for you. You need something fixed? You can go to Ace Hardware and you can get what you need. Or you're like me, you need somebody to do the fixing, right? Ace Hardware Home Services, they're ready for you. They're bringing experience, local plumbers and techs that handle everything from repairs and seasonal maintenance to installations and upgrades. And they listen to your goals and they say, all right, let's do it. Ace Hardware Home Services, a wide range of residential maintenance, installation, and home repair services are available. That includes plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical. Free estimates on equipment installation and replacement with trusted advisors and options that are best suited for you. Emergency services for when you need them the most. And of course, you can trust them and satisfaction is guaranteed. They're going to make it right no matter what. Visit acehardwarehomeservices.com to get your project started today. acehardwarehomeservices.com. GLAT Hair Restoration. What's up? All right, so if you're considering like, oh, I hear Mark's talk about it all the time, GLAT hair, I'm going bald. Like the moment for me when it happened was the aha moment was when I got a new driver's license picture. And I'm like, damn, look how much hair I've lost. Like, look at my hairline. Look how it's receded. So if you're looking at some old photos, maybe you're on IG and you're like, man, God, lost a lot of hair. Don't wait any longer because if you're contacting or you contact GLAT Hair Restoration, they have something for everybody in all stages of hair loss, right? Like, so I had a hair restoration procedure. The results are amazing. You look at the hair, it looks good today, right? But maybe you're just starting to go bald, but you see it and you want to make a preemptive strike. And you're in the algorithm on Instagram and you see all the after pictures of people spraying stuff on their head and they're like, wow, look at that great hair. Where are the before pictures? Where are the before pictures that I put out on here right now? It's like, look at what my hair looked like before and look at what it looks like right now. If they're not showing a bunch of before pictures, then there are no before pictures. There's only the after pictures. Trust me, GLAT Hair Restoration, all stages of hair loss, the most experience in the entire country in hair loss. It's all they do is hair. GLATHAIRMM.com is the website for all the information that you need. 610-980-4000. Operators are standing by. 610-980-4000. You can always reach out to me on my IG, on Twitter. Don't reach out to me on LinkedIn because I get a bunch of ads and I don't really pay attention to it. But reach out to me. Email me, johnmarksmedia@gmail.com, @johnmarksmedia. I have pictures from the day of the procedure, before the procedure, after the procedure. I can help guide you, answer questions for you. I can even I can hand you off to my friends over there, to my girls at the GLAT Hair team. So it's not a cold introduction, but you can call or text 610-980-4000, GLATHairMM.com. Hoo-ah! We're back. All right. So, we are 1 week and 1 day away, Black
8 days.
Or 8 days, which is probably the easier way to say it.
8 days.
From Phillies opening day. And I believe Tyler Zuri is going to be making the trip. Is that true, Tyler Zuri? Are you going down to watch a game in the 40-degree weather? I'm sure it's going to be 40.
It's going to be cold. I think 45 is the high that I saw as of right now. Obviously, it can change in the next couple of days. But, I'll be heading down there with the Philly Sports Trip group to hang out and watch the game in Washington. And then we have our tailgate, our PHLY and Cavs Catering tailgate for Phillies home opener next Monday when they play the Rockies in probably also 45-degree weather.
Pack your park.
Yeah. Well, listen, if the weather's warm, I may go, but if it's not, I'm not going. And 45-degree weather for opening, I'm a whip, no doubt about it. I am Fugazi going to games fan. I do not enjoy it. I'd rather sit at home. It's too cold for baseball. But anyway,
I think the sweet spot in terms of temperature, I think the sweet spot for a baseball game is like late May, early June,
for sure.
Because then you get to July and August, and it's like truly like dog days of summer, and it gets to be 95, and you're sticking to the seat. But
so I have eyes on 4:05 Saturday afternoon game late in May. It's perfect because it's still warm being at 4:05. It gets a little bit cooler as the lights go down, but you're out of there by 7 o'clock at the latest. So yeah. So Tyler is also our baseball bot. He is the host of the PHLY Phillies podcast. So you get his content all the time. Sometimes it's live, sometimes it's videos on demand, but he does an unbelievable job. So Tyler, we're going to put you on the spot here.
Okay.
And this segment is going to be called "I Have a Hunch You'll Love the Baseball Bot." Do you know what that comes from, Black Gritty? Because I have to come up with a song for it.
I don't. Tell me.
So the Baseball Bunch used to be a show with Johnny Bench and Tommy Lasorda was, I forget his name, but it was Johnny Bench hosted this half hour. It was a fun baseball show for kids. It was at about the same time as This Week in TWIP or TWIB, This Week in Baseball.
Yeah.
But the theme went, I have a hunch you'll love the Baseball Bunch. So
Very
this
70s.
is, I'll have a hunch you'll love the Baseball Bot. It's actually 80s. Anyway, same. Yes. Tyler Zuli, Craig Kimbrell, our old buddy Craig Kimbrell. And then I got looking at that NLCS against the Diamondbacks, and I got sick to my stomach. But he signed a minor league contract with the Atlanta Braves. This will be his 16th season if he indeed makes the Braves roster. He signed a minor league deal, but he'll make $2 million if he makes the majors, or when he makes the majors. Tyler Zuli, can you name how many teams Craig Kimbrell played for in his previous 15 seasons?
All right, so
yes, you could take a second to think about it.
He made his debut with the Braves.
All right.
He has played for both Chicago teams, the White Sox and the Cubs.
3.
He's played for the Phillies, of course.
4.
The Boston Red Sox.
5.
The Baltimore Orioles.
6.
Who else has he been with?
Well, I don't want to give it to you. You got 6.
Was he with the Dodgers at any point?
Before the Phillies, 7. The year before the Phillies, correct. 7.
And now
one more.
Missing
yes.
one.
And I don't remember this at all. It was the team he went to after Atlanta for 1 season.
Who was he with after Atlanta for 1 year?
Before Boston, there was 1 year between Atlanta. I don't know if that was a trade or a free agent. Probably a trade based on because he was a monster closer.
Oh,
NL West team.
Oh, he was with the Padres for a year, wasn't he?
Correct. You got them all. There you go.
That's crazy. You got a family. You got to clear out some space for the kid. You know what I mean? you got to clear out some space for the kid. You're not gonna remember nothing for this kid, man. You got.
Well, I got to be honest with you, BG. Since he's been born, like I'll try to have conversations with my wife, and I'll be like, that thing, and like I don't remember what things are called anymore.
Again, you because you got too much of that in your brain. I'm telling you, this boy gonna start zapping your brain cells.
Clear the RAM.
I forgot almost half. I can't wait till my daughter graduates. I'm trying to get a decade back. Like I lost 95 to 05, bro. Like I'm trying to get it back right now. When she graduates, do I get that time back? Like what happened to my memory? Because I had to upload all this kid junk into my brain. So, good for you. Well, the bot is alive and working right now.
So Kimbrel so he was with the Braves, unbelievable. But then the Braves were bad, so they started to do a rebuild. And the Padres, they used to like every 5, 6, 7 years, they decide they wanted to win the World Series, and they would make bad moves to try to do it. Kimbrel, through 5 seasons, had a 1.43 career ERA, and he struck out 42% of the hitters he's faced. He was the best closer in baseball. So the Padres got Kimbrel, and then BJ upped it. And the Braves got Cameron Maybin, Carlos Quinton, and really nothing more. They got some prospects that didn't end up working out. So there you go. Craig Kimbrel, you will forever be remembered for blowing a save in the 8th inning of game 4 of the NLCS, and then the Phillies.
Yeah, they had a chance to go up 3-1.
Yeah.
I was there.
So let me ask you guys this. Speaking of Kimbrel, like you guys were talking about retiring numbers and Hall of Fame and stuff like that. Is Kimbrel a Hall of Famer to you? Because to me, like just the numbers alone tell you that he probably should be, right?
Yes. Closers are it's so weird with closers.
So hard.
If you took, because that's stupid, like not wind up, but the livery that he had with how he leaned over or whatever with the ponytail, I always hated him. So, but if you took his name out of it, he was unbelievable. You look at some of the numbers.
Because like just numerically, like you said, if you strip the names and you just blindly were to look at box scores and stat sheets, there's 2 guys right now that are towards the end of their career that numerically probably could be Hall of Famers. It's Kimbrel and it's Kenley Jansen.
Yeah, so I like to take the best 10 years of a player's career, close to 10 years. 46 saves, 42, 50, 47, 39, 31, 35, 42. And his ERA in all of those years was either a 1, a 2, or there was one where he had a 3.4 ERA.
Yeah, he was really, really, really dominant.
Yeah, he was.
He was unbelievable.
He's a closer. It's interesting. That's the interesting thing. I would say yes if he just took the name off and put the numbers in there and took off the 32 teams. You'd say yes. You know what I mean?
Yep. Agreed. All right. Did you see this story? President Trump had a phone call with Putin, and one of the things that they discussed in the phone call was the idea of an NHL/KHL game, and I think they said games. So they were looking to organize. So I'm reading from an ESPN story here. President Donald Trump supported President Vladimir Putin's idea to organize hockey games between the U.S. and Russia during their phone call on Tuesday, according to a summary released by the Kremlin. According to the Russian government, Trump and Putin discussed, quote, hockey matches in the USA and Russia between Russian and American players playing in the KHL and NHL, which is Russia's professional hockey league. Yeah. I know you pay attention a lot to you have a fantasy team in the KHL, Black Grady.
I do. I got a lot of stock out there. We got a lot of draft picks coming up out here for the Flyers. So I am out here trying to scout, you know what I mean? Trying to find some more Babaruskis.
So the problem is the NHL was like, oh, now what do we say? So their quote was, we have just become aware of the conversation between President Trump and President Putin. Obviously, we were not a party to those discussions, and it would be inappropriate for us to commit at this time. Yeah, I bet. So let me say this. Is this not the best idea you've ever heard?
So in light of what just happened with USA versus Canada?
Yeah, and what was the name of that tournament with the 4 countries?
Now I'm blanking on it.
Yeah, but it was awesome. It got huge ratings.
It did.
And casuals like me were watching and interested.
And there were great games to watch.
4 nations. Like, yes.
You tuned in. It was exciting. So I mean, and you had Canada booing the national anthem out here. Like that's real rivalry building up. And I mean, Russia versus USA, like it would be something to watch. People would tune in, and the NHL needs better marketing. It needs better promotion.
This would be awesome.
It would be awesome. And again, a lot of the younger stars are coming out from other countries, from Canada, from Russia. So you'd get to see a lot of the younger prospects and better players that are over there that they usually don't even let out. Like we're like we got Mishkov as early as we did. We didn't think they were going to let him go. So it'd be crazy to see. I mean, not that I want to give credit to that and all that stuff, but I mean, it's a good idea because of what the Four Nations did. That was a great little tournament.
But you think about because right now, doesn't it kind of feel like the world is turning back into 1980s WWF wrestling? Back when you could have Vladimir Volkov and Boris Zukov and the Iron Sheik, and they would spit on the ground talking about the USA. There was real rivalry, right? You can't do that anymore. Everybody's but that's back. Canada's booing the United States' national anthem. Like the president likes Russia. Everybody else hates Russia. You can have a real Cold War hockey rivalry in 2025. I think it's a great idea. I would love to have. Could you imagine? This is like the Broad Street Bullies against the old Soviet team. And the Broad Street Boys kicked the crap out of them and fought them, and they wanted to quit. And the story goes that they came down and said, "We're not paying you guys unless you finish the game." And they just beat the hell out of these Soviet pros. I want to see that all over again, man. It'd be awesome.
While we're still on air, before we have to switch over to YouTube, let me just tell people, Johnny Marks, I know this is your show, but you ain't nothing but a punk, Scoob McDoo, and you get on my nerves. I'm sitting over here trying to live my life, and this dude's out here throwing out random WWE clips on Instagram in the middle of the night. I click one video, and next thing I know, I'm in a time portal. It's 1977, and I'm watching old interviews, Ric Flair's. I'm like, yo, where am I at? You put me in a hole the other night. That's why I was sending you them videos in the middle of the night.
You gave me a Dusty Road. Oh, it was so good. He was
a little bigger than the other guys. My body may not be the type of the other guy, but I tell you what, brother. I'm like, yeah.
You want to see something? Google Dusty Rhodes playing basketball. For being a big fat dude, this dude's doing Mo Cheek's finger roll layups.
Oh, for real?
Because he's a lefty. Dude, I'm not kidding, man. He was a hell of an athlete, Dusty Rhodes. Unbelievable.
He said it. Yeah, you had me in the wormhole the other night. I was mad at you. I was punching air and everything. I'm like, thank you, Johnny Marks.
So, by the way, if you want to watch the rest of the program, then you should really scoot on over to allphly.com because we'll do a couple more minutes here. Allphly.com to watch the rest of the program. If you're watching on TV, we thank you for watching on Xfinity, Samsung Plus, Roku, etc. But it's time for overtime. We're still trying, we're trying to get, we're working on it. We're trying to get it a little bit smoother so it fades into the.
There you go. So we're technically calling it overtime now. I see you.
We're calling it overtime now. It has an official name for it. All right, so I've one last thing here. And by the way, bring the Iron Sheik died, but bring him back. You know what I mean? Right? Bring him back. Bring the Cold War back. Bring the inappropriate storylines back. Let's do it. Who the hell cares?
And for that, you can do crazy stuff like, oh, this is the Iron Sheik's nephew, or you know what I mean? Like something like that. You just bring somebody up and it's like, this is his nephew. He's been trapped in a cave for 9 years. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can do fun stuff, Johnny Marks. You can do fun stuff.
The Iron Sheik used to say, Iran, number one. USSR, number one. USA, and he would spit on the ground. And they would pan to the crowd, and some guy with a mullet, it's like 1986, is like, we hate you, Iron Sheik. They didn't realize it was staged and it wasn't real.
Oh, so good.
Speaking of staged, I got to get this out there, and I love the guys. Can you put up that WIP tweet that I saw out there? And I'm becoming more and more aggressive with the just phony baloney takes that are out there because, listen, I know that it's something that we need to do, or I know it's something that the TV shows need to do because they can't come up with good content otherwise. So that's why you got Chase Daniel. What do you call him? Chubby Chase?
Chubby Chase
making up takes. Skip Bayless should be in a Hall of Fame of something because he was so much more entertaining than these losers that they put out there now trying to come up with takes. You know what I mean? But that's what they do. So apparently still on WIP, even after winning a Super Bowl, we're doing the take radio, right? And even on a morning show. If this is middays and whatever, then all right, I get it. But Jonah Cameron's concerned about the big names the Eagles have lost this offseason. Blah, 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 blah. Here's what's not encouraging. Oh, we lost this guy and that guy and this guy and that guy.
Oren
I'm not.
Burks, for audio listeners, Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, Mekhi Becton, Oren Burks, Darius Slay, Isaiah Rogers, Kenny Gainwell, CJ GJ. We lost all these guys.
Right, but then he says I'm not concerned because he knows the lad people in the draft. All right, then why even bring it up if you're not concerned? It's because it's take radio. We're continuing doing the takes across the board, not just middays and afternoons or whatever. And it's disingenuous. Just trust me. Just trust me when I say this. He doesn't believe a word of it. And if he does, I don't like. Listen, good. God bless you. If you right now on the 18th of March, after the Eagles won a Super Bowl and it's nice outside, and this was before Brandon Graham announced his retirement. You're concerned about the Eagles. You know what I started the show off yesterday with BG? I started the show off like I literally, and Tyler will tell this, I am so palpably excited for what Howie Roseman has done. Their defensive line has 24, 25 years old, 24, 24, 24, 25. You look at their defensive line and what Howie Roseman has done, they should give Howie Roseman some kind of trophy for how he's reconstructing this defense with young edge players that are going to be in pass situations. Like, I am not thinking about Josh Sweat and Milton Williams and else did he say? Oren Burks. I'm not thinking about him right now. No.
The Philadelphia Eagles have 3 players over 30 on the team. The Washington Commanders just brought in 10 players. They're signing all these guys. 10 players over 30. Dudes that are long in the tooth, past their prime, and they're trying to grab lightning in a bottle. You have to get younger. You have to find greatness in the youth, and that's what Howie Roseman's doing. The take radio stuff, the take is crazy to me because I'm like, look, if you have a take, I get you. But after winning the Super Bowl, Johnny Marks, I give you credit for one thing. You used to grump and bump about things when things were bad or you were nervous about stuff because you didn't know where the team was going to be. Once the team got there, you settled in like, hey, we're in a good spot. For people to just be still complaining about things when you're in a good spot is asinine. It's absolutely asinine.
Yep. Eagles are impacting the NFL. I don't know if you heard yesterday, Jamar Chase talked about how Joe Burrow's comments on Pardon My Take and the other media that he did, talking about, hey, the Eagles pay everybody. Why can't I have T. Higgins and Jamar Chase? The Eagles legitimately are impacting the NFL because they're paying everybody. And they're able to do it. And these owners can't hide behind the salary cap anymore. Jerry Jones tries. He tapped out of Cooper Kupp because it got too expensive. Of course.
Oh, gosh. The Dallas, first of all, Howie Roseman is ruining a lot of people's pockets. Jeffrey Lurie's over here laughing his way to the bank, but he's messing people over. Cooper Kupp not going to the Dallas Cowboys is just so laughable. Also, did you know what the Seattle Seahawks are doing? I forgot that they had the Wozniak guys, offense coordinator. They're going to be running the Shanahan system. That's why they're dumping all their players and getting these other guys and getting slot wide receivers and running backs in there because they're going to start running the Shanahan way. And that's what Seattle's doing. For everybody who's wondering why Seattle's getting rid of everybody and doing what they're doing, they're about to start running that super duper dink and dunk West Coast type thing.
Well, Geno Smith wanted like $50 million a year, and Sam Darnold's really on a 1-year contract.
Yep.
If you look at the details of the contract, real fast, were you surprised Mekhi Becton really only got a 1 year? I didn't even see the guaranteed money out yet, which means it's a 1-year contract essentially. He did not have a market for him out there, bro.
No, he did not. And again, that's why I thought he was going to take the whole discount and stay for at least another year because he's basically on another prove it year. Yeah, he did it with the Eagles, but somebody else like, well, I need to see you do it on a regular team, not a super team, quote unquote.
The Eagles didn't want him back. Not for even 1 year, $10 million.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like inside baseball, I know that how much do you think they offered Josh Sweat to stay as an Eagle? He got $40 million. How much do you think? You don't think they did?
I don't think they made him an offer. No.
$25 million.
Guaranteed? Yeah.
$25 million.
Yeah, that'd be worth it. Sure.
Yeah.
For like 3 years, essentially, you're guaranteeing him 2+ years.
Yep. But he obviously took the 40, and he didn't want to take the 40. That's inside baseball. He had to take the 40. He wanted to be an Eagle. Like if they came a little bit closer, he would have stayed.
Look at so on the show we have insiders. Tyler Zulli, Maniac Malloy reported before Derek Gunn did that Brandon tore his triceps, and listen to Black Gritty with some inside knowledge on negotiations with Josh Sweat and the Eagles.
Yeah, that was the number. But again, 40 is better than 25. And again, he wanted to stay here. And without me revealing too much, I'll give you one more nugget of how things work out. Do you know the reason why Josh Sweat stayed and didn't go to the Raiders?
Last year?
Yeah.
Because the Raiders suck.
No. The Raiders offered him more money too. He stayed last year because of love.
Ooh.
Love.
So are you now betting his ex-girlfriend from last
Oh,
year?
no. Hey, don't get me beat up by Josh Sweat. I'm just saying, he had someone local here. She was going to school. She wasn't willing to go out there. She tried to finish school. He was like, you know what? I'm going to take this hometown discount. And then this year it was like he thought about it, but he couldn't do it because $40 million over 25, you got to get that bread.
Well, it paid off too.
Yeah.
It paid off for him. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Remember, subscribe on YouTube. Hit that like button. Black Gritty. All right, did you do cheap seats this week? Or
no, we're off until the draft. We're on another hiatus until the draft.
Okay.
BlackGritty.com. I'm doing my podcast. We're talking. I'm trying to be like TZ, talking about baseball eventually. I had Corey from Ohio on my show from the radio last night.
I saw that. I didn't see the show, but I saw you promoting that.
Fun dude.
BlackGritty.com. Check it out. We will talk to everybody tomorrow live at 8 a.m. See ya.